So I think this is Sans Hosen 20.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't been keeping count, of course.
20, 20, 20. I can't even remember. Do we even have an intro? I know we have an intro, but
We have an intro.
You're close. Give them to me.
it reminds me of the A Scanner Darkly. Have you ever seen that film?
Oh, no, I haven't. Isn't that the one with the funny animation style? Is that right?
Yes, it's the one with the funny animation style. I think it's more or less kind of rotoscoped over,
Yeah.
but I might be wrong. Philip K. Dick's story with Keanu Reeves, and on the director's commentary, they've got the actors in it. I can't remember who. Oh, it's Robert Downey Jr.'s in it, and maybe they've got Robert Downey, Robert Downey Jr.
Robert
and the
Downsey.
director. No, and the director and Keanu Reeves, and like not even at the beginning of the commentary, like 10 minutes in, Keanu Reeves says, "Oh wait, is this animated?"
Whoa.
And I gotta say that, like, I didn't really like Keanu Reeves in the sort of Matrix days, but that gave me like a +1 for him.
Yeah, he's good in a lot of people's books now, I think. Everyone just agrees he's
Oh,
a
yeah.
dynamite chap.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that to be. Obviously, this is a huge generalization, but it's like if you're going to be like a really big film star, you either have to be like really chilled out and not really give a fuck about it, or be a complete like psycho narcissist with a plan. Would
Yeah.
you agree? Or
I would agree, yeah. And
yeah.
considering, Bill and Ted Face Music, I don't think Keanu Reeves has got that kind of plan in mind.
Whoa. Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, I think people really like him, huh? He seems, yeah, like you said, it's kind of like, oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if he's a great actor, but not a rapist. That's always good.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people ask for these days. It's kind of a sad time to be alive. But if the news ever breaks and he gets Me Too'd, that's it. I think a lot of people are going to lose faith in humanity.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, so articulate. It was kind of worse when the same thing was going on and no one talked about it. But who would be the worst celebrity in terms of, like, I suppose, international morale to get Me Too'd? Would it be like Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I think that's why the Bill Cosby one was so kind of groundbreaking. And a lot of people were absolutely devastated by that because he had such a hokey, family-friendly image.
Yeah, whereas, Jared Leto doesn't have that to lose.
Yeah, exactly. No one gives a shit. They kind of, what's it? I think we talked about this kind of the other day privately. But The Onion had one of their things up online about the Russell Brand thing. I think the headline was, one of their mock headlines was, Nation surprised Russell Brand wasn't convicted sooner or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, Nation assumed that Russell Brand was already a sex offender.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's kind of like the whole Jimmy Savile thing where I remember my dad talking about Jimmy Savile and saying, I don't know how it came as a shock. He dressed like a paedophile. He talked like a paedophile. I guess, when you're like, you appear to be doing a bit.
Yeah.
People can be like, haha, it's not real. I don't know.
There's a new, not biopic about Jimmy Savile. It's like a mini-series. Have you heard about this? It's like a dramatized thing starring, of all people, Steve Coogan as Jimmy Savile. And apparently people are rating his performance quite highly. I don't know what to think about it. I haven't seen it. I don't really have the highest opinion of Steve Coogan anyway, as a sort of comedian, but I don't know how that would pan out. People are saying it's okay. I'll watch it because I do get fascinated by that story, for sure.
Is the film called Now Then, Now Then?
I don't know actually what it's called.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a serious drama. It'd have to be. But the whole Jimmy Savile thing does kind of lend itself to like a slasher pick,
Oh.
like Jimmy the Fixer or something.
So he's like works for the mob now, does he?
Well, I'm obviously thinking of Jim'll Fix It. So you could do, yeah, you could do. It's actually, yeah, he's the antagonist, the sort of demonic antagonist. It's Doom-like, where actually the protagonist is super powerful, played by Charles Bronson, and it's called Fixin' Jimmy. But now it sounds like a Better Call Saul spin-off. Yeah, I mean, I want to see it. I mean, I haven't really seen much Steve Coogan for a while, but he was really overexposed in the sort of mid and late noughties.
Yeah, I mean, I
Definitely
never really watched Alan Partridge. I caught a few bits in passing, but my God, was it quoted to fucking death at school all the time.
Sorry about that.
It's not you per se. It was our other friend Dobson. He loved that fucking thing.
Skinny boy. Well, I loved it.
Oh,
too.
Skinner. Yes, I forget myself. Skinner.
Yeah, Skinner. Yeah. End game. Boom. Do you know what Skinner's doing right now? Just to hammer in that he is Skinner. Do you know what he's fucking doing right now?
Crochet.
He's running a marathon in Nepal.
Oh, Nepal. Oh, wow. Bravo.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to make sure he gets his little oxygen. Yeah. I have no idea what I was just saying. I'm sorry. Now I'm just thinking about Principal Skinner. Oh, yes, Alan Partridge, yeah. I don't know. It had some great lines, though. Give us another army saying, Michael, stop, twist, kill, stop, twist, kill. And shit like that. When Alan Partridge goes to his friend Michael's house and Michael won't let him inside and then offers him a cup of beans with a sausage in it.
Oh, God.
And Alan Partridge says, do you have a spoon? And Michael says, no. I've never had call for one. How can you live without a spoon?
No, the one that Skinner always, I'd hear a lot from him was, so what are you going to do, hit me? That's capital punishment. I'll see you in Strasbourg.
Okay, I didn't even remember that one. I also remember his favourite quote.
Not corporal punishment, fuck it out.
I remember his quote, it's vulcanized rubber, so it won't perish. Which is while Alan Partridge is giving a BBC producer a lap dance wearing like a rubber thong.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I think they did a movie. Well, I'm pretty sure they did a movie, and I've seen it, and it was okay.
What's that? Alpha Papa or something? Is that right?
Yeah, well remembered.
I never saw it, but I remember seeing the posters everywhere. And at that point, I think I was just too busy being a contrarian to give Alan Partridge the time of day. So I was like, no, I wouldn't see that. It's obviously going to be shit.
Alan Partridge is too mainstream. I'm all about bread.
I was always about Frasier, my friend.
Yeah, real niche.
Yeah. Well, it is now. Look at hell.
Oh, is it now? I don't think so. People are talking about it.
Yeah.
Frasier buzz everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure. But, I mean, so obviously we're here today to talk about the reboot and the episodes that are currently up. Do you think that's going to get a second season?
Have you seen them?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. So you didn't like them?
No, I wouldn't really call it Frasier. I call it the Big Bang Theory. That's what we've got.
I also felt a lot like that. The Big Bang, specifically the Big Bang Theory, the sets and the sort of old-fashioned style of it,
yeah,
and everything,
yeah,
and the level of humor as well.
Yeah, it was like immediately slapstick for some reason. Which, I mean, I guess most of what Frasier was that in the end. I think like the season 6 onward, from what I remember of it, yeah, it just got very wacky all the time. But they seem to be running with that rather than the kind of more muted wisecracking stuff from the beginning.
Yeah, it was. I would call Frasier's humor sort of farcical, and I don't know if this was farcical. The new Frasier episodes, I don't know if they were farcical or just kind of shit. Maybe they were trying to be farcical, but I don't even feel confident enough to say that. The mystery isn't like the mystery isn't like why is it shit or anything like that. The mystery is why they fucking made it.
Yeah, that is an excellent question. I mean, oh, sorry, I beg your pardon.
What?
I was taking my shoes off, getting comfortable because I realised I'm just making too much noise with boots on.
See, I'm so glad we're not in the same room sometimes.
Yeah, but it's not my feet that's the problem.
It's your wang. Put it away.
IBS, baby, all the way. And that
Not
growth
so
on
much
my
irritable as free-flowing bowel syndrome.
yeah, and that growth on my back is getting bigger as well. Start to sprout hair.
Maybe you could get like a professional incision and turn it into a backpack.
I'm convinced, right, if you took a scalpel and made an incision, like a thumb would sprout out of it, just kind of flop out.
Or like just a segment, just like an eighth of a smiling human face.
Oh, something's going on there. But the NHS don't want to do nothing about it. So looks like I'm growing my first baby.
Do you remember? Do you ever remember that? I think it was a TV Channel 4 special, probably in the late 90s, where Richard E. Grant plays a marketing executive who, like, has a big boil on his neck and it grows into a head, and it starts like telling him what to do.
No, but I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked it up and I think I saw it a few years ago in like 144p. And I couldn't, like, it was, I probably saw it on YouTube and it was in such bad quality I couldn't really tell what was going on. But yeah, I can't remember what it's called either, but maybe that's worth a look. Anyway, yes.
No, this is like
yeah,
how to get ahead in advertising. Something like that.
Yeah, that was it. Wasn't it that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. My dad would tell me about it. He said he liked it. But this is, who knows? If you say it's from the 90s, that shit doesn't date too well.
No, honestly.
Especially like English stuff.
Yeah. Yes. From the school of the Zaphod Beeblebroxhead.
Oh God, yeah.
Go to sleep.
And when I watched the behind the scenes stuff for the Hitchhiker's Guides, when they introduced, they talk about the episode they introduced Zaphod Beeblebrox and the prosthetic head. They talk about that at length. They were like so proud of it. Yeah. Like for the first like shot, they actually have it articulated, but shortly thereafter, it's kind of like bust, and it always has one like broken eyelid, and they never go back to fix it. It's just like that for the rest of the show, and it never talks ever again.
Yeah, I know. It's like his head has like palsy in his eye or something.
Yeah, occasionally it looks around, but that's it. Oh, bless them, these guys. They were such proud papas. It was dog shit. It was fucking dog shit.
You just described British TV. No, but really, Frasier is dog shit, and that's definitely not British. Although it does have Rodney in it.
Yes.
Did you like Rodney?
It wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be, but still. I mean, he's kind of doing like the Gil Chesterton thing, I guess.
Sort of.
Yeah, but I mean, the tone is just like wrong. I think is what we're saying for that show. It's just, yeah, it's a much cheaper sitcom I'll start all that again. What I liked about Frasier, isn't there. It's a much cheaper sitcom than that now.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I think they're just churning this stuff out because it's another IP that they can squeeze a few more, bucks out of, really.
Yeah, that must be it. But I didn't think that Kelsey Grammer really needed that. But whatever.
I was thinking, I started seeing the ads for it on the side of buses, and I thought, all right, they're really taking this one seriously. They're actually going to go for it. I haven't seen many people talking about it. But I would... I was just thinking to myself, if I was going to make a Frasier reboot, I wouldn't call it Frasier. I'd call it Sex Crimer.
Duplicitous medical professional.
And we've only seen, the 2 episodes so far, and the first one's pretty muted because they're just establishing everything. It's like, when's he going to start being a pervert again? And lo and behold, in the second episode, there are flashes of that brilliance.
Yeah, almost though. It doesn't quite.
But no, there was a line. There's a line that he says. So all right. So set up. There's he's going back to reunite with his son, and there's a sort of micro fuss. He meets a woman in his son's apartment that he assumes, fuck me, I'm staring like a motherfucker today. Frasier's trying to reunite with his son, kind of ambushes him at his apartment. There's a woman there. He assumes that's his girlfriend, and this, that, and the other. It's not. That's not the case. They hash it out, and it's going to be a thing for the remainder of the show. But this woman has a baby, and she's figured out. Beginning of the second episode, you just have like mummy troubles, right? And it turns out, we've got the screaming child and nothing's, calming it down. It turns out that Frasier's voice, is that audible chocolate, just puts this child to sleep. So she's kind of, throughout this episode, starts to kind of latch onto Frasier for that reason. But she ambushes him in the hallway while he's going to go visit his son. And he reads this as sexual interest.
Yes.
And after the second kind of encounter, when he's kind of enjoying it a little bit, he makes that clear, but he's made uncomfortable by it. And in the second encounter, he kind of turns away and kind of runs off. But as he's running away, he says, kind of quite muted, "No amount of desperation will ever make this okay." And that was exactly what I was hoping for from Frasier.
An oblique acknowledgement that he is still very, very horny.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even more grossly inappropriate than ever.
Yes, because what you didn't mention was that this woman has been fairly recently widowed.
Yes.
To her fireman, she had a fireman husband who died in a fire, and she has a baby. I don't imagine she'd be that horny.
No,
not enough time has passed.
This was never any kind of consideration in the world of Frasier. It's just like, if Frasier's game, then they will be game.
It's on. Did you see the third episode?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you like the sort of Dr. Phil bit?
No, I didn't.
That was my favourite bit.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't say I liked it. But yeah, that was almost like funny.
Oh no, I would say it's a highlight, but I'm kind of being a really obnoxious Frasier purist here, and I'm just like Frasier would never do this. This isn't right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that they made a big mistake by having him go to Harvard and be like hyper respected.
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to bring up. Actually,
never get into Harvard.
It's just the thing I think we've talked about, in our own time about this. But there's a really weird thing about Frasier. I mean, the TV show, right? Because the universe that Frasier lives in inexplicably just loves everything that Frasier does.
Yeah,
and it's baffling. I mean, there's just no real world kind of context would everyone fawn over this one person.
Yeah, he'd be a niche radio host, and that would be it.
Yeah, and what they're setting up here is he went on to do TV for 13 years they mentioned, and now he's like a fucking multi-millionaire. So he's got
you can just buy an apartment building.
Yeah, an apartment complex, just at the drop of a hat. Within in the time frame of this show, it seems to like happen the next day, and
He's
you'd have to have people, scores of fucking people organizing this, and to have nail down a sale like that quickly, you're going to have to pursue that quite aggressively,
Yeah.
Like the former whoever was holding that building prior to that, if it would have been like strapped to a chair at some point in that at like 2 a.m. It's like, yeah, you're going to do this.
Do you think they made Frasier really, successful now because this is produced by GrammarNet, and for some reason Kelsey Grammer wants Frasier to be successful? Because even though Frasier was, really rich back in the old day and not successful romantically, but went on dates with inexplicably attractive women, whereas he should have been, unfuckable, really. It was just so weird. I don't know, what am I trying to say? Do you think that was a mistake? Do you think they did it to appease Kelsey Grammer's ego? Well, why did they make Frasier super successful and thus remove any tension? Because he never had an arc, so I thought that they'd maybe try and do that here, where his arc could be, oh, actually, I've learned that I don't really need to be famous to feel valued.
Well, I think the arc here is that he's fighting against being this kind of hokey TV personality, but I think he's just kind of I think his arc is going to be learning to kind of embrace that he's fucking human trash, and he should just brave for attention like the ass that he is.
You mean he's going to accept it all over again? Like, no, I just love the limelight. I don't care if I have to sell fucking adult diapers.
He's going to embrace his life as just the most soulless fucking and unscrupulous sellout. From what I've seen so far, is kind of the only arc they're going to set up.
I mean, do you think that it's even got the oomph to even sort of have him do that? In the original Frasier series, it was definitely on the side of Frasier's conflicted about selling out, and selling out is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it'll be like, no, selling out is fine. It's what Frasier does. It's fine. Because this is selling out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not that Frasier was ever really sold in, but...
Yeah, no, I mentioned it because, they made a big point of saying, look, playing the role, putting on that stupid hat and telling some fucking pig stories that keeps these students engaged, you're actually going to do a good, something really good.
These Harvard students.
Yeah, notoriously kind of layabouts,
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, you only need a GPA of 2 to get in there or something. Nothing. Yeah, I mean, you.
I mean, they don't have a fucking plan for this. They just wanted to kind of wheel this guy out once more because he's he'll make a little bit of money. And one thing I wanted to mention as well, right? I thought was really odd. So at the end of the first episode, they do 3 dedications to people that never heard of. One of them, I presume, is like Nicholas Lyndhurst's wife or former wife or mother or something. Although not a bit ambitious to say mother, she must live a hearty life, a long and hearty life. Yeah, but they naturally do dedication to John Mahoney, and they just have this one really awkward clip.
Yeah.
Of him, and they must have so much footage of him, right? Unused footage, and what they use, which is bizarre. It's just this 2-second clip, and he says something like, "It'll work out," and then it's just and it just freezes, and then the dedication comes up. It's like, well, all right. They obviously wanted to. They were reaching for something that would have been poignant, but that wasn't it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would have been, I think, perfectly acceptable if they just put up a still and say, in loving memory of,
Yeah, or why not have something funny and just have the clip of just the shot where Niles is filming him and John Mahoney's going, It's me from beyond the grave. The drugs are in locker 296. Do you remember that? That would have been funny. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think they had to, they were going to go for like the most respectful thing they could. I think they went too far in one direction though, and it comes off as, a little insincere, really.
Yeah, mine would have been respectful and funny. And then while he's doing it, going, it's me from beyond the grave, fades into black and white, and then I've got an overlay of like his grave. Ooh. Maybe some photos of his like widow crying. Something like that.
Yeah, all right, you're not pulling any punches here. I want to punish people for supporting this Frasier reboot, so they're going to be fucking miserable at the end.
Yeah. 5 minutes of just like John Mahoney and words coming at you like John Mahoney would never have been part of this if he was alive. I mean, they all wanted out in season 10.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's in the Meet the Crew or Meet the Cast special feature in that DVD set that you've got. I'm pretty sure you've seen it, where they're talking about they wanted it to end at the end of season 10, and like Frasier wanted, another 20 acres. Frasier, Kelsey Grammer.
I mean, he is Frasier. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
it is what he'll be remembered for.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's not surprising. So you mentioned it's made. It was made in part with GrammarNet. What is that? I'm gonna guess. This is
that's his production company,
right? Yeah.
But that doesn't, that could mean anything, right? It could mean that he's not involved at all, and obviously he's the most important part of Frasier, so he can just slap that on there and take 20%. It could mean that he developed the idea and had someone write the script for him under his supervision. I don't know, and it doesn't change that it's shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess for Kelsey Grammer doesn't have a lot of work these days. It's just going to be a nice victory lap for him, I suppose.
Well, sure, but
just do it in private.
Do you win the gold doing a 100-meter sprint at the Olympics and then do a victory lap where you walk around the same area shitting your pants? Like limping, because that's what this fucking is. I mean, it's not like I hate it. Like, it doesn't ruin old Frasier for me.
No, not at all. In fact, I signed up for Paramount Plus. I've got their 7-day trial at the moment. I'm naturally going to cancel it, but what they do have available is the original Frasier. So as soon as I was done with that, I've been watching that for the better part of today. And I'm going to have a little fun with that. And then once it's, done, 5-6 days, boom, chop it off. I don't want that.
Yeah, you can cancel it now and you can still get in.
Right, okay.
You can still log in, yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
That's what I do is, if ever I get a trial, I get the trial and then the first thing I do is cancel it.
Right.
And whether it be Disney Plus or Paramount Plus or whatever, they all work like that. You can still log in until your trial's over.
Okay, good to know. All right, I'll crack on with that as soon as we're done here, because I know I'll forget.
Because, obviously that's kind of like their business model, or at least part of it, is that you'll forget.
Yep.
And then be like, fuck, I've paid for a month.
Well, better just kind of hunker down and enjoy it then. And then by that point, you're kind of invested. And you're like, oh, fuck it.
I can't give up now. I'm only on season 5 of Frasier.
It won't take me, a month to do that. I'll get that done in a day.
Yeah, in a day, yeah. Yeah, there's a bit in Frasier episode 3, this Frasier, where they say, the son says, oh, didn't you and Uncle Miles open a restaurant for a day before you quit? And, they shouldn't have mentioned that, because that just made me think, I can watch that episode right now.
Yeah, click.
Yeah. I could watch Daphne kill some eels with her bare hands.
Yeah, but that is kind of what they have to do with these things.
Yeah.
They will obviously, bring up the happy memories. Do you remember this? Do you remember this? In all fairness, right? So I immediately went back to watching Frasier. But I started right from episode 1, season 1, and they do because that's a spin-off of Cheers, and they do exactly the same thing there. Whether he's talking about in Boston, the bar, and this and the other, and a couple of the characters get mentioned. It's like, well, all right, it's noxious, but it's what they do. It's not unheard of.
Yeah.
But the difference is, I really like that show, and I don't like this one. So when they do it here, it's fucking intolerable. Whereas it's perfectly acceptable. The exact same thing is perfectly acceptable over there.
I see really what you're saying. Like you can do it, just do it well, or make it funny. I mean, I like the Woody and the Sam episodes. In Frasier.
Not the Diane one so much.
Oh, I do like that. I don't. I mean, I find Diane annoying, but you're meant to.
Yeah, that's why it's an uncomfortable watch.
What's the most uncomfortable episode, do you think? Is it that one?
Let me think.
Oh no, I know what it is. It's the one where he role plays as his PA and literally says, well, not literally, he says something more along the lines of, "Don't you talk to me like that way, massa."
Really? What the fuck is that one? I've forgotten about that.
It's the one with, what's her name? Doctor, but she's not a doctor. I know, it's like, he gets a black PA.
Right.
And he's too scared to, like, give her any direction because he thinks she'll call him racist.
Right.
And it's like, it's pretty good for something in the 2000s where people around him are like, no, you're already being racist, Frasier, because if she wasn't black, you would tell her, stop butting in. And all of this. But yeah, do you not remember him saying that?
He says massa. Really?
Yeah, he says massa, yeah. And then Niles' face is like, no one's going to say that, Frasier. And Martin looks horrified.
Oh, yeah, that sounds a wee bit spicy.
Yeah. I can't remember her name, sorry.
Nah, well, I can't remember the episode at all. All right, I've got some homework.
Yeah, it's a later one. Yeah, don't remember that character at all? Because she does come back and he hosts like a Christmas parade with her.
Oh, right. Ringing some bells, but the episode you're talking about, no, not at all. Definitely not that fucking line. Which is odd because it would stand out like a fucking sore thumb. Oh, that was shocking. Alright, cool. Homework. The other, it's not really awkward, but do you remember the one where he gets caught up with his sex games, like live on stage in a children's show?
Yes, yeah, with no Nanette.
Yeah,
who I think they say he was married to at one point.
Really? Oh, I don't know.
He's had because they also say his first wife we hardly ever see. She was like a hippie,
right?
Like a free spirit hippie, and then his second wife was no Nanette, and then he was gonna get married to. What's her name? Blonde bartender. Diane. And then he did get married to Lilith.
Well,
who then had, after she'd met Frasier, had a sexual awakening and like mass cheated on him. I think. But obviously we're going back to my Frasier days there, and that was only my minor. I mean, Cheers days even.
I've never watched. I mean, I catch it in passing, but I never really watched that.
I've watched all of Cheers.
Yeah. Is it alright? Is it worth giving that a go?
Yes and no to those two questions.
So it's... That's a no if I've ever heard one.
It's alright. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it.
Right, fair enough.
I have seen every episode of it, and it's actually way better before Woody Harrelson gets there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't know this until I watched it, but before Woody Harrelson, I think, gets there season 4.
Okay.
The first three episodes, they had a different bartender called Coach,
Right.
who was played by an old dude who actually did die. So they,
Right.
wrote him out. And his whole thing was that he used to coach baseball, knew Sam, and he got hit in the head by a baseball one too many times, and he just had like no memory.
Okay.
And the actor was really good. He was really funny and convincing. And I thought Woody Harrelson was kind of not great, even though I think he's really good. I don't think he was good in Cheers.
Right.
Although the writing was, I mean, what's Woody Harrelson's character in Cheers? Just a moron.
Sorry, I'm not really big. I'm not a Cheers aficionado, so I really don't have to be perfectly honest, nothing to say to that. But yeah, God, I gotta get this back on tracks. Fucking hell. No,
Sorry,
not
Frasier.
Not you. I'm fucking drawing a blank, man. It's a good job we don't do these things fucking live. I'll tell you that much.
Well, I don't edit them.
Oh, well.
Whatever.
No. Don't listen to him, so I've got nothing to feel embarrassed about.
Yeah. No one does, so double that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So back to
I don't even publish them.
the no thing, right?
Yeah.
Why is, and a previous kind of talking point, why does Frasier get away with this kind of stuff?
Well, no one catches him on that occasion. The one thing he shouldn't have got away with was having sex on live air, on live radio, where he was clearly identifiable by his voice. Do you remember?
Yeah, no, of course, remember that one. But I mean, can you say he wasn't caught? He was there in a children's. Yeah, he was dressed up as a baby. Didn't he have like one of those? What do you call those like frocks? The old timey frock.
Like a baby onesie.
No, it wasn't a onesie. It was something you wear around your head.
Oh yes, I know what you mean. Yeah, it looks like something someone would wear who works in the kitchen at like Chatsworth House.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean, like a
He was,
Little Miss Muffet hairstyle, hat style.
yeah, exactly that, right? But
Yeah,
he was just uncovered in the show, like half naked, unannounced, special guest,
yeah.
and a pretty prominent figure, apparently a very important prominent figure in Seattle. I mean, people would have to investigate that and quite heavily scrutinize the man, or at least the circumstances.
Maybe, but in the days before the internet, you could get away with it because, like someone's going to write a column in a newspaper saying, Frasier Crane made a really unexpected guest appearance on a children's show. It didn't make much sense. I don't know. But compare that to Frasier Crane definitely had sex in his radio booth live.
We found the genetic material.
You could hear him going, "Oh, dirty girl."
Yeah.
With his boss, and they couldn't identify her, even though it was obvious she had quite a distinct voice.
See, this is like the only thing that's makes me angry about Frasier. Is I'm just bitterly jealous of this man that can apparently do no wrong, who does a lot of wrong.
I want to have sex live on radio. All you can hear is a woman going, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, it's fine." Yep, this is great.
All right. So, forgetting about forget about what we talked about with the reboot as it currently exists. What did you want to see from a reboot?
Well, as I've said over and over, I suppose, is to quote you, quoting War Games, the only way to win is not to play. Well, okay, before I answer that question, for a while people wanted a Frasier movie.
God, it was been dreadful.
Which would have happened, ideally in the mid-2000s when people weren't a lot older, and it would have had the whole cast in there. Mm-hmm. Would that be better?
Absolutely not. No.
You wouldn't want a Frasier movie where they finally kill off Frasier.
Well, it depends on the content of the movie, but no, I hear Frasier movie and I think Simpsons movie, you know, and we know how that turned out.
Yeah. Thank God I was drunk.
Oh, bless you, such innocent kid. We were getting drunk on beer back then. That was delightful.
Yeah, that was the mistake, huh? We should have been fucking shooting up before we went in there.
That just can't.
What?
I can't believe there was a time in my life when my liver was just that sensitive. Now it's so blackened and calloused. I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
It'd be a litre of whiskey if I was in that movie theatre now.
Oh God, a litre as well, no less, in a plastic bottle.
Oh yeah, nice and cheap.
Yeah. Oh God, I couldn't do that. That would get me smashed. Do you drink beer at all then, or just spirits?
Oh no, I just drink beer. No, fuck that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No.
A strong beer. Man's beer.
Band's beer. Well, just whatever's available. I don't drink that much in all fairness, you know. Not now.
Right.
So, Frasier is single in this show, leaving room for a love interest, I'm sure, in the future.
Yeah.
How old do you think she's going to be? Now, Kelsey Grammer's got to be like in his 70s, right?
Yeah.
How old do you think that woman's going to be?
I think she'll be 45 to 50, but like Marissa Tomei, sort of aged beauty. She'll definitely be beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say late 40s, early 50s, which brings me back to my proposed title for the reboot, Sex Crimer.
Yeah, so is that the Frasier series you'd like to see? Is just 18 plus Frasier crime every episode?
Frasier XXX. Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's just a bit of a... He's got those kind of diddler's fingers, hasn't he? It's not that I want to see that. It's just his actions over the course of those 10 years. He just did some very duplicitous sexual things. I just don't believe he's going to keep it in his pants forever. I mean,
well, like what? What's the worst thing he did, apart from the radio sex thing?
Well, I still go back to the not
Yep.
that thing as well. What else do we have? This is why I'm in urgent need of watching it again.
Stephanie's horny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just, just aggressively sexual.
He was just gross.
Yeah.
He was just gross, yeah. Yeah, and so, simultaneously pathetic, but also bizarrely successful.
Mm. And, lovable as well. I mean, those things are, congruent with each other.
Yeah. Well, I guess because it was a sitcom, you could just suspend the
I know. I mean, the mistake that we're making was we're trying to hold it to the, to real world standards. And it's all right. It's TV, guys. Kind of chill the fuck out. But no, goddammit.
Produce your tax returns, Frasier. I don't believe you're as rich as you say you are.
They say rich as the Rockefellers. I don't believe it.
My house. Yeah. So the TV series I'd have liked to have seen, I guess. Even though there wouldn't have been a market for this, I guess I would have liked to have seen like a dark comedy where Frasier realizes that he's an empty shill, and and then what after that? I don't know. And then what, does he start to dismantle his life? Or no, you know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see Frasier use his power as a Seattle celebrity god. To pull some strings and get the age restrictions waived for him to join the Seattle PD. And then it's Frasier as a beat cop. Like, this is what my dad wanted. I'm giving back. Honestly, all my time as a psychiatrist, it was all about me. But as a beat cop, as a 75-year-old beat cop,
when you said
I finally feel like I'm helping.
He'd use his considerable power to kind of affect the age wave. I thought you were going to say the age of consent.
Yeah.
Ah, dear, oh dear. All right, so I think we agreed that he'll likely have a love interest in the late 40s, early 50s at best.
Yeah.
But I reckon there will be some, a younger woman that shows interest, like ridiculously young, but that won't go anywhere. I think there will be something like a woman in her early 30s that'll try it on, and Frasier will be like, then maybe we'll think better of it. But it'll still be kind of gross. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
I guess I would also think it funny if he suddenly mentions, oh, by the way, my boyfriend's moving in, and it's Patrick Stewart, and no one ever mentions anything like, oh, hey Patrick, or whatever his name was in that episode.
No, it can just be Patrick Stewart. It's good.
Hey, Patrick Stewart. Or Captain Picard, sometimes. Because it is meant to be the actor, Patrick Stewart.
Or they just bring back the Tom Durant, the radio manager, who was gay. And they just go like, well, yeah, things will come down, obviously didn't work out that night, but they did work out another night. We've been doing it on the DL for 25 years now.
I realised
and I've loved every
that my side guy has to become my main guy. Yeah. No, that would be fun. Yeah, well, what else would you like to see? I mean, kind of in the realms of, you can do anything, I guess I'd like to see Frasier Crane hunted by an enormous sentient question mark that's just like bouncing up and down and like crushing like whole city blocks.
Oh, right, okay. I see this thing running down hallways, it's this kind of nightmare-scape. But no, it's like a Godzilla kaiju type thing.
I was going to say, if we got...
Does Frasier recite some kind of incantation and then suddenly grows 200 feet?
Well, I was going to say we could get Peter Jackson to direct it, and then it could change height, depending on the scene, like in King Kong. Or it gets progressively bigger. So yeah, you've got it coming down the hall, and then it gets so big it's like dragging the sconces off his hall. And then it gets so big he's driving his Ferrari like straight down the highway at 120 miles an hour, and it's still like almost catching him. It has to be, he has to get onto like an aircraft at one point, and then they have to work out how they're going to like get him onto the space station to get away from it.
All right, so this question mark has declared its intentions. It just wants Frasier, If it needs to tear through humanity to get to it, but it will if necessary.
Yeah, so when he gets...
then I would argue, why would it be? If that's the case, why anyone would make the effort to protect Frasier and not just offer him up as a ritual sacrifice?
That's exactly right. That's how it ends. He gets onto the space station Mir, and they're like, you destroyed continental United States. Now we cannot allow go on. And they just end up throwing him out of this... throwing him out of the space station, and you just see
that forehead just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right, and then at the
all you hear when it cuts to black is just screaming and screaming and screaming. I don't know. Again, we need the suspension of disbelief because sound doesn't travel in space, but for cinematic effect, artistic license.
Even worse by being completely silent. Maybe all you can hear is the like of the comms or something, and you can just see him screaming in agony, but you can't hear it. But then we get the credits, right? And then just as Frasier's head explodes, his enormous forehead, it explodes. Credits immediately as that happens. Credits, and then at the very end of the credits, bang! He bolts upright, and he's in like a matrix machine with all these wires going into his brain. And who's there unplugging him? it's fucking Samuel L. Jackson, and he says, "You've just been recruited to, you know, the superhero thing. What's it called?
Hero Squad.
Hero Squad. You've just been recruited to the Avengers." Blah, blah. And Frasier's like, "But I brought that question mark on the world." He's like, "Yeah, but that doesn't matter because there's a much bigger threat." And then as he says that, they both look up at the sun, and it's being eclipsed by Tim Allen.
All right. So when he brings up the question mark thing, Samuel L. Jackson doesn't say that that was a dream or anything like that. That was reality. So what this stipulates...
That was reality. They've just like rebuilt his brain.
Yeah, so they've gone out and, you know, collected all the pieces and stitched him back to... They've rebuilt... So what? Is he just this mound of flesh above the neck? Or is it, you know, has he got a lot of like cybernetic implants? He's actually, you know, it's just a robotic, you know, facade. You don't actually see his head.
Maybe we can, you know, kind of, I don't know, smudge the science a bit and just say that his forehead took the brunt of the decompression.
No, I
body was mostly fine.
Flesh mound, but okay.
Or it's Frasier's like reconstructed Frankenstein's monster's head, but on like Johnny Five's body.
All right, I mean, I'm kind of into it. We do know that Johnny Five likes a good skin suit, but yeah, what would be the advantage?
Law building now.
Yeah, well, we'll bring back all the hits today. So all right, they've made a conscious decision to put his head. You said on top of Johnny Five or in place of Johnny Five's head? So he's like, you know, talking to Johnny Five, like on his shoulder, advising him on the, you know, the correct course of action in any given situation.
Well, let's not be stupid. Johnny Five is obviously real, so it would obviously be his head. Why not Zaphod Beeblebrox it, where Frasier's head is Johnny Five's second head, and Johnny Five's constantly saying, "Go back to sleep." No, I was thinking more like they took Johnny Five's head off, and then there's just like a spike, you know, to attach his head, and they just spike Frasier's head on it.
We get to see it as well. They really wedge it on there.
You can hear that as it goes on.
So they spike him at the back of the
his
skull?
eyes sort of blink as he does it. No, they don't put it all the way through the skull, but they tell you how it works. They're like, yeah, it's not actually about like getting it into the brain to keep it on there. The only thing that'll actually keep it on there is if it does wedge into the skull. So I'll just put it on.
It's a bit.
And I'll just use this rubber mallet, the type you would use to put in a tent peg, and I'll just give that a couple of hits on the top of his head. Make sure it's nice and in there. So yeah, and then duct tape him in. Yeah.
All right. So the spike's going in through the back of the skull. Then, so he just has an exposed neck stump at the bottom of this. It's always just ever so slightly dripping. Throughout the course of... Are we saying this is a movie or a mini-series? Because
maybe
I think we should see elements of decomposition as it progresses.
So it's just like rotting.
I mean, all right, so we've got Frasier's head and we've impaled it. Does he do... Is he even there? I mean... He could just be dead. It just should be a dead head on this fucking thing, inexplicably. And it does what it does, but it doesn't do anything Frasier.
So it's just like...
It's more of a
Frasier's been very interested in input lately. I mean... What? So it's just Frasier's head and Frasier is dead.
That's the poster.
Yeah, there's no picture even, it's just those words. There's not even like a release date.
They do like some viral marketing, you just see it spray painted on the sides of buildings with no context.
Someone goes back and re-edits the what's-her-name Griffins, where she was holding Trump's head and it's just Frasier's head. Yeah. Imagine if Frasier's head was taken from his body in the 13th century, and then the local youths of the castle played kickball with it. This is what it might have looked like. Ow, 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 ow.
So now, we're just envisioning scenarios of what can we do with Frasier's head. So we've got impale it on a robot, send it back in time.
I mean, can I just say as well, I think there's more to discuss about putting it on top of Johnny Five's head, and Johnny Five being like, why are you putting it? Well, I don't want this. No, Johnny Five, it's fine.
So it's more about Johnny Five's now existential crisis.
I'm going to share my body with Frasier.
Frasier starts to slowly grow into it, and the system becomes symbiotic, and he can't be removed after a certain point, and Johnny Five simply has to live with it.
I am Frasier 5. We are Johnny Crane. Yeah.
Like Johnny Five journals all this experience as it's happening, and he can kind of feel the secretary being overtaken and is in incredible pain, and knows that he's losing himself to Frasier, who's obviously going to be the more dominant personality.
Yes. I mean, it's going to turn out that, do you know what? Having a 6-foot-tall tank tread combat robot, that wasn't a problem until it got really horny. Without Frasier in it, it was all about learning and helping people pack things in vans, things like that. It was pretty useful.
So Frasier's first move, once he's overcome Johnny Five, and Johnny Five's just a kind of shell at this point. He just kind of mutters away. There's no real personality left anymore. Top of the agenda: build a Robocock.
Build a Robocock, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't get soft, ladies.
He rebuilds the bottom half of his chassis so those tank treads now separate, and then out from that will be revealed and emerged his new titanium phallus.
And the whole point of this, I don't know about the phallus part, maybe we can get that in there. The whole point of this is only Johnny Five with Frasier's head is both intelligent and insightful enough, and also has the physical fortitude to land on Tim Allen and reason with him. Is that? And then the cock thing is, if that fails, that's the threat.
That's the threat, yeah.
Yeah.
What? So we've known for a long time that Tim Allen's been consistently expanding because of the hex put on him by, was it a gypsy lady? I can't remember what we said it was.
I can't remember at all. Was it a hex? I don't know.
We said he's just one giant man of flesh, right? But perhaps, we kind of retcon it. And the reason that this Robocock will emerge as a threat, or be seen as a threat, is that it will pierce through and will burst him like a balloon, perhaps.
It's like a telescopic Robocock.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
But it's works almost like a... Yeah, telescopic is correct, but I'm thinking like Russian doll, so it just keeps... With every iteration, it goes out. You can just keep pulling it out, and each obviously layer gets progressively thinner, so you will have eventually a needle hypodermic point at the end.
Oh, you see, I thought cocks work like that, where you get the urethra, you pull them open like a banana skin, and there's a smaller cock inside.
You, my friend, might need to see a doctor.
Yeah. There's got to be teeth on the inside of the cock to make it,
Otherwise, you're exposed.
Yeah.
You're vulnerable. You don't want any intruders.
So yes, Frasier's head on top of Johnny Five's body goes to Tim Allen and threatens him with his telescopic Russian doll cock. I mean, I'm thinking that it makes sense because he's the only thing small enough and made of metal that can land on Tim Allen. Tim Allen's so big, he's got his own atmosphere now. Mm-hmm. Anything else would just burn up, or he'd be able, it's big enough that he would detect. But now he's sneaked past Tim Allen's atmospheric defenses. He can try and reason with him.
I mean, yeah, We could do that. But I think at this point, Tim Allen will have been in space so long, expanding, that he will have lost all humanity. Will not be even close to coherent, and so simply can't be reasoned with. This is where Frasier will have to take drastic measures and will start boring into him.
Okay, so yeah.
Or maybe he just sees a mouth in the ground. He's like, I'm game.
Jesus Christ. It's just a mouth in the ground because Tim Allen's forehead at this point is like 3,000 tons. Yeah, I mean, I would quite like to have seen a crossover with Tim Allen and Frasier. They'd be quite a team.
What iteration of Tim Allen? We're talking like Home Improvement or?
Yes, specifically Home Improvement. Tim the Toolman Taylor, I should say. Tim the Toolman Taylor and Frasier, they'd be quite a team. Because they were both totally incompetent, right?
Yeah. This is one of the things that was missing in Frasier, which I'm sure we can all agree is an almost perfect TV show. The only thing that was missing was someone in the background.
The background in the fucking foreground, my friend.
Yeah, so he stands in front of the camera every time. Or
out of focus
he's
and
just
everything.
underneath the camera lens, so he just stands up and it's just his head in frame.
They've actually got like a rig set up so when the camera pans, he pans with it. It's like a little cage in front of it, so he doesn't even have to like do a crab walk around the camera or anything. He's just constantly in this like baby chair in front of the camera, ready to pop up at any time.
And how often does he do it? Just
anytime they're not
transition.
Yeah,
it's not on a comedy beat at all.
Anytime they're not using pop music to transition, because that's something that Frasier was missing. Is you get a different scene, and I wouldn't hear "Walk like an Egyptian" in between the scenes, and I needed that.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it missed someone going, but not Tim the Toolman Taylor. It should have been Daphne.
I think Martin could have pulled that off quite nicely. He's got a gravelly voice. I think it would lend to it.
Or just do the obvious thing and draw over Eddie with Scooby-Doo, and he could say it.
Oh yeah, we can do the Zero Dark. What was it? Was it called Zero Dark 30? You were talking about no, that's something else. The Richard Linklater movie with that was rotoscoped.
Oh, Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, but I was also thinking more like in the vein of Last Action Hero.
Right, okay.
Do you remember that? With the...
It's like Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, like Roger Rabbit, yeah. Oh, yeah, like, if Eddie wants to jump, he goes like 30 feet high, and he's made of rubber and everything.
Speaking of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Fucking dog. So, who's your favourite... let me start that again. Who's your favourite Frasier character, and why is it Niles?
Because he's as much...
Because it is, isn't it?
Yeah. He's as much of a sex pest, but he's thoroughly unsuccessful and therefore completely unthreatening.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. He seems to be a little bit more ethical than Frasier.
Well, he's not a shill for a start.
Well, yeah. Although you say that, he gets tempted too. I mean, he's not a shill, but he is married to someone who...
Oh, yeah. Married...
I don't know if he...
Married money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Niles always had the better lines consistently. Not that I could reel them off right now for you.
Sure. How's this brandy getting here? Saint Bernard?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I was thinking in your absence about the Frasier robot. After talking about Roger Rabbit. So we got Frasier's head on Johnny Five. Johnny Five's still about, but Bob Hoskins does the voice. But as Mario from Mario Brothers, a real man's Mario movie.
So he does Bob Hoskins kind of as a New York Italian voice.
Yeah. And he just kind of tries to keel around, look at Frasier, deep in the eyes. Only says one thing, and it's the same every time. Trust the fungus.
Trust the fungus. Trust the fungus. Yes, I like that. Is there room for Johnny Legs? Perhaps.
We can find room for Johnny Legs.
Always find room for Johnny Legs, perhaps as his witty sidekick or something who stays aboard the spaceship.
A Japanese man, a Japanese salary man.
You can't tell me it wasn't funny though.
We discussed that at length. Yes, we loved it. I hate myself a little more, but I had a fucking blast watching that movie, I have to say, and I can't wait to
Damian,
do it again.
this John Leguizamo movie from 1998 just made me a racist, but only to laugh at people.
Yeah. I'd never go and actively oppress people. It's fine. I'll just laugh at their differences.
Yeah, to be honest, it was really more just how unbelievably over the top it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd set out to be offensive. Which, yeah.
Well, mission accomplished for sure.
So it's not just Johnny Legs then, it's the Pest.
Yeah.
I mean, now that we've got this ensemble cast, I don't know why they didn't just do Frasier but have those people replace the original cast other than Kelsey Grammer. Like, what, you could have had Johnny Legs could have easily done Niles.
Okay, interesting.
Yep, Tim Allen, easily his dad.
Despite, I would say Tim Allen is younger than Kelsey Grammer, is he not? But we don't need to explain that detail.
It doesn't matter. Fine. Put him, grey his hair up or whatever.
No. We have to make Kelsey Grammer look
really
younger.
young.
So he's got like boot polish in his hair.
Yes. Because Tim Allen always did have that jet black hair.
Like Frasier's always got a skateboard in his hand. He's wearing shorts. And his catchphrase,
baseball cap.
Don't forget his catchphrase, radical.
Cool beans.
Throw in the occasional bodacious as well.
Yeah, I like that. So then Johnny 5, get him in a nice house dress. You got Daphne.
Okay.
I don't whine, craphead. Perfect. This is perfect marriage.
Maybe it's got nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but I feel I must say it. Flim flammed.
Hornswoggled.
I'd like to buy this book, craphead.
It spends 13 minutes with some people pretending to be Latino gangsters, and then he's like, "Soy loco, soy Johnny 5, loco." And Jesus.
See, that's how we can get Johnny Legs in on that one, because we'll introduce him through the Los Lobos doing one of his wildly funny characters.
Sure. So it's Johnny Legs is short. So Johnny Legs is Johnny 4 then, but Los Lobos Johnny 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many robots do we have in this?
I don't know. I'm not going to try keeping count. I mean, at this point, right? Frasier's self-replicating.
How so? What, like mechanically?
Yeah, mechanically. He's gotten a taste of his of this newfound power, and he wants to spread his influence.
So Frasier is becoming the master from Fallout 1, and his quest to get ladies back to his house isn't about maybe having a bit of disappointing sex at them. It's I need more organic material. That's all it is. I don't care who you are. Yeah,
I'm going to experiment on you.
Yeah, every time he's teaching at his Harvard class, the dean comes in and she's like, "There just seems to be less and less people every time."
We'll I don't know about that. These shots in the early days of this kind of campaign that he finds himself on. He has to harvest the organic material himself, but of course, as he's trying to kind of claim these people, presumably in their homes where they're alone, where they're vulnerable, he's trying to kind of be stealthy about it, but we still have Johnny Five piping up, Bob Hoskins, Johnny Five piping up, "Trust the fungus" every 2 seconds. Yeah, these horror
in
beats,
between.
again, just popping up.
So what we're saying is we wanted Frasier to be an absolute assault on the senses.
And you know what?
Like-
we'll tell the story in reverse as well. You know, it's going to be very avant-garde.
Like, maybe we could do like smell-o-vision with it, so you scratch off as the scenes go by, and it's like Frasier's bathroom, Frasier's car, Frasier's towelette, Frasier's bedroom, but it's all just the smell of cum, old cum.
Yeah, obviously that's not going to translate to the screen, so we'll just have a title that comes up, a subtitle that comes up to explain that. It just says "smells of cum" in brackets.
Yeah, scratch panel 4 now, brackets cum.
Jizz rag.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. There would have been something, rather than whatever this was, like some boiled piss.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll have to workshop it in future.
Yes, it does need more work. Like, how are we going to get Kenny back in there?
Well, we started off
Or
down this
Roz.
road because this was going to be Marvel's Hero Squad, right? So,
Yeah, I think that is the official title.
yeah.
They're awards from Army.
They're awards from Army.
Army. Alias was a show about a spy, and also produced by Frasier. Did you know? So, what I was going to say as well was sort of leaving what we wanted Frasier to be behind. I do think it's pretty telling that, like you were saying, you've seen it on buses and things. It's had quite a lot of push. Mm-hmm. It's quite telling that none of the co-stars wanted to be in it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Even for an episode, because it is shot.
Have
you
they
know, in such
confirmed
a
that
sort
as
of
well? So I thought they were. I mean, this was a long time ago, but I was reading stuff nodding towards people like poking their head around the door every now and again.
Oh, really? Because what I've read is they won't be part of it.
Oh, really? Well,
Not like they've said like no, never, but just
like,
yeah, they're not in it.
yeah. Boy, I'd want to.
Well, yeah, but what I was going to say was, you know, the whole head round the door, that would be so easy for them to do. And yeah, I got to wonder about their kind of relationship, the old Frasier gang.
Well,
Because,
if what you're saying is true with GrammarNet, and that this is, you know, essentially a vanity project for him, you might just want it to focus solely on him. And be like, no, there's no room for you now. It's all me. I've got my hands on this now.
yeah, well, maybe. You know, Jane Leaves and Perry Gilpin
Yeah.
used to live next door to each other.
Really?
Yeah, they both bought houses next door to each other, and when Jane Leaves had the baby that they were like Daphne's fat now
Yeah.
to cover up, I think that John Mahoney, Perry Gilpin, and David Hyde Pierce were all the kids' godparents,
Oh, really?
but not Frasier.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Oh, yeah.
They didn't know. You can't remember it, but you've seen the behind the scenes thing that I have, and they're respectful, but they don't like him. Because he was, I don't know, not so they didn't like hate him, but he was always off in his own world. They said, and I read an interview from years and years ago where they got all of them sort of talking about him vaguely. And he had loads of drug problems and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think John Mahoney was saying it was fascinating because he would come in and he'd be in like a total funk and be obviously preoccupied thinking about something else. And then he would just get up and do his lines like always.
Right, okay.
Like he could just switch it on and then he'd go back and be like, yeah, again, not like nasty or anything, but be like kind of sulky and off in his own world.
Right, okay.
It's not like they didn't like him, but just they never developed a friendship with him.
Fair enough. I would have said
So-
before you told me that I mean, it was very popular. He could have been on a wild ego trip, and that would have made him a bit much to deal with. But I did hear some things about the drink and drug problems for sure. I remember reading something along the lines of, the bar that they had in the apartment, what have you. They just used real bottles to stock that, and they stopped doing that because Kelsey Grammer, in between takes, would just wipe them out.
Yeah.
And just get fucking rat-assed.
Just wipe them out, yeah.
So, he
couldn't help himself sort of thing.
Yeah. So after that, it's all apple juice there.
Frasier looks a lot more miserable these days.
A bit more bloated, too.
Yeah. Sorry, I
probably
don't know.
don't want, a raging alcoholic and cokehead as a godparent.
No, and maybe I'm wrong. This is just my memory.
This is obviously speculation. But
maybe they did ask Frasier, and Frasier was like, "I only hope one thing for you, Jane leaves, and it's that your children die before you do." Meh.
Well, I know that
But I doubt it.
Grandma had quite a rough kind of go growing up, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he's quite an outspoken Republican as well, and he wants he really pushes for tougher punishment on criminals and stuff like that. Because I think when he was a teenager, his older sister was raped and murdered, and I think his father was shot dead as well. He lost a lot when he was young, and that's gonna mark you forever.
I think he was in his very early 20s.
Right. Okay. But still,
I think he
young
was
enough
21 or 20.
That's a wound at any
yeah,
age.
of course. No, I'm just saying. And his sister, who he was very close to, was, I think, 1 or 2 years older than him.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. She was, kidnapped and murdered.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that he turned to the bottle.
There's always a reason, isn't there?
Yeah.
Fran Drescher did all right, though, didn't she? Do you know her?
No, I don't. I know the name, but I'm not.
She was in The Nanny.
The Nanny.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
It's from ages ago. It's a TV show from ages ago. She's also the head of SAG-AFTRA, which is probably where you've heard from her.
Right. Okay.
Heard of her? Yeah, when she was quite young, in her early 20s. Two people broke into a house and
The birds and the bees. What a coy way. He's like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. That's horrible.
Well, okay then. Two people broke into a house and then tied her husband up and raped her in front of him for 6 hours. And they cut her up and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't need to hear that.
Yeah,
You're quite right.
There you go. Hope you feel better about yourself.
Not now, no. I couldn't think of a better note to, end this on, by the way.
To end this on? Yeah, a lot of that about. I'll tell you what, a lot of that about. Oh, yeah. Horrendous. To end this on with that. More celebrities who've been molested.
Oh, wasn't
and the stories I remember about
them. Talk about, are they still alive? Who was it now? We talked about the other day.
What, is that celebrity dead?
Yeah.
Well, you want to make that into a whole episode?
No, not at all. But there was someone we were talking about the other day. We were surprised they were still alive. We were talking about Tim Curry. We brought someone else up. Oh, it's not important. I can't remember. Yeah,
John Cleese?
I know it wasn't John Cleese, but yeah, I'm surprised. He's got to be... They have started dropping now, those guys.
Oh yeah? Who else died?
Well, we know that it was Terry Jones not too recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but only him, right?
Yeah. Well, Graham Chapman, of course, but that was, a long time ago.
1989.
Fucking
hell. Like
oh, you had that one in the chamber, ready to go.
Oh, I remember reading about it and coming across it and thinking, fucking hell, I had no idea he died in 1989. Just he was so young. That was all.
Yeah.
It could be completely wrong as well. Yeah.
We don't fact check.
Before... Okay.
Nor will we.
No. We'll delete comments that set the truth out there.
Oh yeah, we're all about censorship.
Misinformation, that's all we're about. Yeah.
I think it's pretty harmless misinformation, the shit that we took.
Yeah. Well, the words we talk, but the frequencies we're operating on, we're melting a lot of brains out there. I was going to say, next episode, would you like to do fan art again?
I would, yeah, I'd love to see some of that again.
Christina tells me we have quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I have not looked at anything because I'd much rather do it simultaneously with you.
Someone's going to make a clip of that for sure.
Good. Bumming. So with that said, if anyone feels a bit artistic, I said artistic. If anyone's feeling a bit artistic and fancies using social media to send me or direct message me some fan art, go ahead.
I will very much.
I'm not saying I'll put it in, but I'll try.
Someone's also going to make a clip of that one as well.
Yeah. I mean, I do have to put it on YouTube, so I can't put I can't put a picture of a knob up or something.
You can still
so
send
if you still send it to me, still do it. Maybe it'll go on my website at one day. I definitely need a fan art page, but if you want to send me a picture of me and Damian having sex, it's not like I'm not going to put it on YouTube because I'm a prude. Because I would think that's hilarious.
I'm going to put it on my bedside table.
In my wallet. So I can, if I'm ever at a bus station and I'm bored, I can have a quick wank.
I can use it to threaten my wife.
Vaguely threatening. Yeah, so there we go. If anyone fancies doing some fan art, thanks, and thanks for everyone who's pushed it. I don't know when we're going to do another one of these soon, I hope, but, you got at least a couple of weeks, I think.
That'll be correct.
Yeah, all right, then I guess we'll wrap up. Thanks very much for watching, listening, whatever.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.